Welcome to the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. We discuss 6 questions in less than 9 minutes because leaders know how to be concise. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. First question, in a few sentences, tell us your name and what you do.
Hey there, I'm Robyn. I'm a professional speaker, coach, and trainer on all things communication. I help people speak better on stage, off stage, and in between stages.
Love that. Very much needed. Very much appreciated.
Yeah.
Question number 2, what's the best thing about working with a team?
Well, it's like I spend a lot of time by myself as a speaker, and having a team keeps you, what's that word? Accountable. Keeps you accountable because you may have a brilliant idea, but your team can see it completely differently, and it helps you shift where you need to be if you're a good listener.
Great comment. I love that. Question number 3, I hear from other leaders of teams that it can be a challenge to get team members engaged. Tell me your thoughts on that.
Yes, team engagement is critical. And you know what I do as a communication, because I also do a lot of training on teams, for teams, to help them get along better with their teams and to engage their teams better. And so the one thing that you really have to realize is everybody does things for their reasons, not your reasons. And so to be a really great team engagement leader, you need to find out what motivates the people on your team. And when you find out what motivates the people on your team, then you give them tasks related to what motivates them. And not only just what motivates them, you don't want to shift the task per se, but you shift the way that you communicate that task so that they are engaged with it for their own reasons and for their own emotional motivations. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's great. Great information. Could not agree more. That is great. Yeah. Question number 4, what other piece of information or advice would you give to other leaders of teams?
Know what your team's communication style is. Now, the thing is, like, as a team leader, we are very used to communicating in our own style, but just like knowing what motivates your team, you need to know how that person communicates, because they may not even hear the instructions or the directions or the leadership if you talk to them in Greek and they speak English. So you really want to figure out what their language is so that you can connect with them and so that they can understand what it is that you mean. How many times do you give a direction and you think, okay, they got that. And the next time you turn around, it's like, that is not at all what I said, And that's because you communicated in a way that makes sense to you, but may not make any sense to your listener. And they may just not be the type that are going to ask the right questions.
Great information. I love your individual approach the team leader should be taking with each member of the team, looking at them as individuals. I think that's fantastic. Thank you. Question number 5, what other successful team leaders, such as yourself, would you like to recognize that have had a positive influence in your life?
Oh, there are so many. Are you familiar with Joe Applebaum? He is he runs a team or a company called Ajax Union, and it's a social media marketing team, but he has such a personality. He has such a great way of communicating with his team and communicating with his colleagues that it seems like he's all over the place, but you know that his team is actually doing so much of the other things. There's another fellow speaker of mine named Pegeen Escobar, and she actually even has the name of one of her companies is Team Pegeen, so she's she's a former military person, so she's all about team, and she knows how to command a team, she knows how to gather a team, and she knows how to get a team to work for her and with her.
Sound like great people that have a lot of great experience, so thank you. Final question, tell us about your first job.
Okay, I'm totally going to age and date myself because you would not believe that my first job was at Prudential Insurance Company. And it was because my stepmother worked there, right? So she got me this job, and it was a job in the basement working for the computer where they had all their computer with all the information. But it was so far back that the information was on these huge discs of they were like a film disc that was huge. My job was to gather all of those discs when they came back from being used and shelve them.
Oh my. So you were almost a stocks
Oh,
person.
yes. I was a stock person for computer insurance information.
Oh, I love it. This is one of my favorite questions because I get to hear so many different stories of
Yeah,
people's first jobs. So
yeah,
thank you
yeah.
for sharing that. And Robyn, thank you for being on the podcast today. How can people find you?
Well, thanks so much for having me. And please go to my website, robynhatcher.com. That's Robyn with a Y, hatcher.com. Or you can find me on LinkedIn, which is one of my favorite platforms. LinkedIn, just under Robyn Hatcher, ROBYN.
Fantastic. This is Sean Richards with the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. For more ideas, you can find us on LinkedIn by searching Blue Sky Business Consulting. Thanks so much for joining us and have a great day.